So I got to the border, and it's always a bit daunting. I always get like very nervous at any border when you're going into a country. I don't know what it is. You instantly feel like you're a criminal, even though you've done nothing. He said, have you got anything to declare? And I went, well, I've got some art.
All right, Emma Richardson, excited to have you on the podcast. It'll be our first British accent, so welcome.
Thank you so much for having me. So it's taken, 61 episodes is this? Lucky 61 to get a British voice.
Yeah.
We made it.
Yeah, finally.
Thank you so much for inviting me. I'm thrilled to be here today.
Yeah, my pleasure. I think that, obviously, you've been coming in to get some work done for the new gallery setup over in Hingham. What do we... House of Art?
House of Art, yes. I think that's a polite way of putting a few bits. I mean, I came in with crates of artwork and any chance you could frame this in a few days, which you can, which everyone is a big shout out to you. You helped me so much when I came in, and you helped me choose the pieces because I had a lot of artwork and tried to sort of do that selection process. And then, I mean, you single-handedly elevated the gallery to a next level because... to me, as I was saying to you, framing it's more than a frame. It elevates the artwork, it adds to the artwork, it becomes part of the artwork. And you did such thoughtful framing, especially with some of the larger pieces.
I thought that everything came out great. I mean, we did some to stay on a budget, and we did, we dressed some of them up. I was excited with how everything came out. I thought it was all appropriate. So.
It looked beautiful, and I thank you. I couldn't have done it without you, and just letting you. It was lovely as well. I could just let you get on with that. But you do what you think will make this look the best, and that's lovely to have that partnership. And you certainly did some things that I had never thought of doing, like with we call it double mounting. What do you call it again?
The double mats,
Double mats, that's it. Mats, mounting. We speak the same language most of the time. But you understood what I was talking about. And things that I'd never think to do with the framing. And that really was a lovely... Anyways, there was some lovely bits that you did, and I thank you. And I brought in, when I came in today, not just artwork, but more framing.
Yeah, we'll get to that after the
after this, yeah.
So where did the House of Art, what is that, a British thing? Or what was the reasoning behind the name?
Oh gosh, the name, that was the hardest thing, actually. Everything else I knew how it was going to look, which artist, how it was going to, I had that vision, but the name, I mean, me and Copilot spent a lot of time typing in names, spitting them out. It's like, no. And then in the end, I was going to call it Art London because that's where I'm from. And then that felt a bit too, I want this to be art from everywhere and everyone.
Yeah, you don't want to limit yourself.
To preclude that. And then House of Art just felt, eventually I got there and it felt like a really natural fit because art becomes part of your home.
Yep.
And it becomes, to me, like it's part of the family. Like it travels with us and it goes up. And so the House of Art felt like this is where you come, you can choose art in the house for your home.
Sounds like royalty.
Well, okay, and sounds quite fancy. That's fine too. Although it's not. It's the plan is that it's not fancy. I think that's the biggest. That when I was, coming up with the vision for this, the most important thing to me was that it was really welcoming, not at all stuffy. I want this to be like a fun, joyful place where everyone can come in. Like kids, you can bring your dogs as long as they're kind of relatively well behaved, unlike my dog who comes in with this like thrashing tail and I'm a bit worried. And it's just no, I just don't want it to be stuffy. We've got music playing. The first thing I bought when I knew I got the space was a kettle. I mean, not anything related to anything except making someone a cup of tea. And then I also bought a coffee machine as well. That came second. Because I want you to come in, have a coffee, have a cup of tea, have a chat, talk art, relax, and to be a space that isn't just a gallery. It's we had lots of kids came in yesterday. We had a craft table set up and they were drawing and colouring. And I ate far too many cookies. And we just enjoyed it because I think art is just a part of life and I want children to be engaged as well and come in and feel like this is a fun space to be and they want to hang out there too. I
think that's important. How did the children react to Nathan's pieces? Did they like his more than others, or?
It was interesting. The girls came in. I had mostly girls come in to do the crafting yesterday, and the most popular pieces were the ones that were pink and purple and all these really bright colours, which is the ones I tend to be like mostly drawn to. So it was a lot of Ellen's work, a lot of other artists. Actually, I'll show you Christiana's work, Owen's work, which I'll run through. They all the boys loved more than the girls. The Boston sports teams. Yeah. But I think as soon as the older girls get in there, they had lots of 5 and 6 year olds yesterday. They hadn't quite figured it out. But Nathan's work has been really popular. I think we've got a couple of pieces, 3 pieces here, and 2 representing us from our respective nations.
Yeah.
What's my ones? It's kind of the other way around. Have a good day and be inspired. I think it's like his sort of slogans. But I can tell you lots about all the artists.
Yeah. So first, you're obviously from London.
Yes, I'm from London.
And you how long have you been here? I mean, was this something you were planning when you decided you were going to come to the States, or?
No, not at all. Not in the slightest. We moved from London 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And I have been working as a writer and doing a lot of creative stuff part-time for the last couple of years, and just really working on settling our family. And then my daughter started in kindergarten, and I always said, when she gets on the bus, that will really free me up to do stuff.
Yep.
Because I don't have to worry about the pickups and the drop-offs at nursery and whatnot. And then she got on the bus, and then a friend of mine at Balance yoga studio called Caitlin said to me, right, your daughter's on the bus, are you getting on the bus? And I was like, yes, Caitlin, I'm getting on the bus. I remember it very vividly, this one moment in the yoga studio, and I was like, right, this was September, and I was like, I'm gonna get on the bus. I was like, how do I get on the bus? And I'd always had it in the back of my head that I'd love to have an art space. That was always there, and it had been sort of, that seed had been growing for quite some time, and I'll go into that in a minute. But then I contacted the landlord of this space I'd seen in Hingham, and I'd had my eye on it, and I loved it, and I thought it just felt right when I'd seen it. I love Hingham downtown, and I love the community there, and I love being amongst lots of smaller shops and local businesses, and that really spoke to me. And I spoke to Andrew, and I said, any chance I could have it for November and December? Yep. He went, yeah. He didn't even hesitate. I was like, oh, okay, right, okay, great, let's do that then. Yep. And that was it, and that was mid-September, and I opened the doors 7th of November, so it was a really quick turnaround of doing it. But I always knew what it was going to be and how it was going to look, and it was always there. It just lit a fire under me to just crack on, because sometimes you just don't, it's better to not have the time to think, just go, you know?
You have to act. You can't just, if you spend too much time thinking and planning things out, like podcasts and what you're going to say, then you freeze up. So you just have to, sit down and do it, right?
Hence a lot of frantic calls to artist friends that I know, some new artists, and to you coming in laden with 25 pieces so far framed and counting. And you're going, right, next week, any chance? Yeah. And yes, you're sending me pictures all the time. Ping, ping, ping. I was like, great, we're getting there. So, yes, it's been a real scramble. I was hanging stuff 5 minutes before I opened the doors. What keeps arriving, stuff has been getting stuck. It's been an interesting lot. I've learned a lot.
Yeah. Well, you're also, so the gallery is going to feature mainly folks from London, or the...
Yes. Yeah. So there are 9 artists in total. 1 American local artist, Ellen. There are... And
she's the one that does the...
This is a ceramics, which I will... It's a very funny story about how I bombarded her with messages like a stalker. I'm not a stalker. But and then there are 2 French artists, and then 6 British artists.
And they're all artists that you collected their works prior or have relationships with?
Yes. It was all very... that was the easiest part to me, was knowing which artists I wanted to bring over and to be like the first artist that I showed at House of Art. that was so easy because all the artists I have in my home. Ellen's the only one that I don't have, and that's not through choice. That is through a self-imposed art buying ban when I found her work.
Yeah.
But I will be adding her to my collection for Christmas.
Yeah, I think you almost have to, right?
Oh my goodness, yes.
You have somebody showing, in your space, you almost want to make sure that you have something to because it's a part of the story, right, of your relationship and all. How did you've been collecting art your whole life, or?
Pretty much in that, probably from I didn't really have any. Students didn't have much money or anything, so I've always been. And I was in Brighton. I was at university in Brighton, and I'm from sort of northeast London, which is a huge art scene and big street art scene. And so I think for my first, I think it was my 21st birthday, I asked my dad for this piece of art that I'd seen from this Northern Irish artist called Terry Bradley, and he does these really amazing, they kind of look like tattoo art style big pieces from like the dockyards of Belfast. So they're really quite gritty. They've got dock workers, and I've actually got 2 pieces of his, and that was my first. And then I actually was really cheeky. I said, Dad, can I have the artwork? And can you frame it for me as well? Because I knew that the framing is also, an expense and something that, you can't have it not framed. And he was like, yeah, I'll do that for you, which was great, because then I could actually get it hung. And that was the first piece that I remember having. And then it's always just been something in me. I always just have been drawn to art. Whenever we go anywhere, I'm always going to every gallery, any exhibition. I've got all my photo feeds with my children, my husband, my dog, or artwork. Yeah, it's all just filled with going to here, there, and everywhere. And I'm always going to the summer exhibition at the Royal Academy in London. I always try and fly home at that time to go and see it. And growing up and living in London, and when my husband and I moved to East London specifically, in like Shoreditch area, that is where all the street artists are. That is the mecca for where they all start. There's huge Terry Noir pieces all over, which are pretty sensational, all over East London. And this is where I found Nathan's work. And he stepped out of our house and he was everywhere. And I tracked him down. I found out who he was, because he's got this very distinctive, he does these demon heads. He calls them demon heads. And that's his trademark. And as you can see up there, why am I being so silly as to point it there when it's there? And it's obviously there, and all the faces. And I found him, and I bought a few pieces from him. And then my husband then knew how much I loved his work and got in touch with him and commissioned him to do a piece as my push present, which is the best push present I've ever had, because this giant canvas turns up sort of, quite a few months after I've had my daughter. And it's of a homage to my daughter. It's all in these autumnal colours. My daughter's called Autumn. And it was all of our lives. He'd recreated like our house, and we were in the COVID lockdown and the pandemic, and he had all these little sweet references. And that goes with us everywhere, and it's always in our living room, and it's the happiest piece that we have. So it was really natural when I was opening the gallery that he was the first person I thought of, because I love everything about his work, and I love everything about his ethos. He just paints to make the world a more beautiful place. And he uses spray paints, acrylics, does lots of graffiti art all over London and everywhere. I've got off a train in Norwich and I found his work. I was down in Margate, I found his work. I keep texting like, you're here, you're there. And he's like, I just sometimes get on a train and just go and for the day and explore a town and just paint. Yeah. And that to me is just to give art like that and make the world a more beautiful place and just be that. I find that the most inspiring thing that he gets up and does. Yeah.
Nice way to spend your time.
And just to have that in you, to just go and do it and not just think about, it'd be nice if I, maybe I should paint. That to me is really, so he was a very natural first choice, and I love these little, I think they make me really happy.
Yeah, these ones are a little wild. What is, are these are these for sale, or are these more signs for the space?
They are for sale. I don't want to sell them. I don't want to sell. That's the problem, I think. I'm like, everything in the gallery is stuff that I have in my home and I love. I'm just like, yes, okay, of course you can have that. Yes. Yeah, but that's part of it, I think, and it's like saying we could, but if they go to homes that love them, then that's great, and I've done my job. But yeah, he's got these. I've got a Statue of Liberty one that I love, and they're just fun and just very joyful and energy. You can see the energy and the passion in all of his work. He did a series of all the Boston sports teams for me, which was amazing because they're not, we haven't grown up with these sports teams, and he's just captured the essence, I think, so brilliantly of the Bruins. I was like, wow, that's sensational. You've never seen them play. You've not, but he just can do it. So, yes, I've got quite a few pieces of his, obviously some tributes to the UK and touching on where I'm from and
I think that's important
roots.
Too, because it's part of your story. Mm-hmm. You had a pretty successful opening night.
Yeah, it was wonderful. I was really nervous, but it was great. It was having so many people come from the community, from the new friends we've made, was a really... getting a bit emotional. It was really, really lovely because we're new here, really. We've only been here 2 years, and to have that many people come and support me and my family and the artists and what I'm trying to do was really... I've never felt so welcome, and it was a really amazing experience. It was just so nice because we're new still, and it's hard to make friends, and we've been really embraced by the local community.
Nice. Did I see a tear?
Yeah, I'm a total...
you're not the first person to cry.
I know, podcast. God, you've got me...
hard-hitting questions.
Those real... No, because it's...
No, but that's great. I'm glad I made it too, for opening night. Yeah.
That was really sweet. Yeah, you came, and it was just... It meant a lot to see everyone come, and it's really scary. Branching out and doing your own thing and putting yourself out there, and I think I'd lost quite a lot of confidence from just not really being in my environment, in my workspace, and to be out there and doing this is it's amazing, and I'm thrilled that I've done it, and
it sounds like things are going, you're off to a good start since opening night. If you have kids coming by and you're kind of hosting craft events, people, what's the reception been like with the people just popping in? Are they excited for you? Or?
Yeah, it's been great. It's been really lovely. Everyone's been really welcoming, really supportive. They've loved having the gallery there. They've loved that it's different. It is like the artwork's very, very different to what there is there is around here. So it's nice. They like having
yeah, I think that's important. I mean, for communities too, and not just artists from overseas, but people have to go there has to be places where people can see art if they're gonna buy art, right? If that's become something in in the areas, somebody's got to take that chance and open up their doors and show the art. So I'm thrilled that you're doing that, and the more not that you need a lot of competition, but the more places that are that makes art accessible, the better. And I think that you're going about it the right way too, because you kind of have your niche, right? Like you have your own artists. It's not like these artists are going to show up down the street in a different gallery or a different space. Yeah. So you kind of have your thing, and I think that that's cool. And I think that anybody that has a tie to London or I think there's good stories from that. Yeah, and it's I
think actually I'd love there to be more galleries. Like the more galleries, the better. Do you know what I mean? I think there's another one might be opening in Hingham as well.
Nice.
And there's already a collective and Amber Waterhouse a few doors down.
Yep.
And Waterhouse, they have lovely artwork as well, and I think it's just great to have.
Yeah, and hers is more localized, the subject matter, but I think, and I'm sure, I know Amber very well, and I'm sure she is probably thrilled. I mean, you look at right down the street, look at the restaurants. They're all owned by the same. You have a bunch of restaurants in an area. they all they all do
right.
well because you go into one and you can't get the table, you go into the next, right? You're going to that area for that need. So hopefully some other galleries open and people that want to pursue art can just know that they can find it in Hingham Square. You weren't able to get to the Hingham Art Walk this year, the hold up in London, or
oh, the dramas. Yes, I got my flight.
But that was a great event, and it just shows you like how much people want that, want to participate in that sort of thing.
Yes, I was held up. But I missed the art walk. I was so upset. I missed the art walk by one day because I was with my mum and our car broke down in Margate, which is about 2.5 hours from London on the coast. And I was with Lily, whose work I'll show you. Lily and Margot. I was there picking up artwork from them and meeting with them. And so that was why I didn't make it. But it was lovely. I got to hang out with Lily and pick up some great art and eat fish and chips off a car boot. So,
Well, I think I told you I love the idea of you putting the pictures up in the space with you and the artists and showing that connection, and then you're kind of like the in-between for somebody that resonates with their artwork, and it's like there's this evidence that these are your people and that you're connecting the two. I think that's really cool.
Thank you.
We're going to put frames on those photographs at some point.
Yeah, I know. It was all very...
We're not just going to pin them to the wall.
I'm not just going to pin them to the wall. Absolutely not. No, it was... I was printing out those pictures at CVS on the day of the opening. It was on the long list of things to do. And I remember you were saying, make sure you print them out. And I was like, right.
I think it's important. It just shows the connections, and it also... I mean, there's multi-purposes for it, too. Like, I think somebody looking at Nathan's work can relate to him more, too, if they see what he looks like. Yeah. If they know who, rather than there being some, and I'm sure that there's some probably good in there being mystery in some circumstances, too. But, like, I think if you're looking at one of his pieces and you look over and you see him, like, the connection builds a little bit. Yeah.
And he very kindly did my flag for me as well, my open flag.
Yeah.
I threw it on him when I went to get the work. I was like, any chance you could just spray paint me a flag?
Yeah.
And he's just like, yeah, sure. It's just because he can just do it. And I've got some videos I'm going to put up of him making the flag for me, which is outside the gallery. So yeah, it's lovely to be able to bring their work over and show their incredible creativity. And they're all different as well. That's the other thing about all the artists. They all work in different ways, different styles. So I've got something hopefully for everyone in terms of what they all do.
Yeah, and I think that's part of running the gallery too, is people come in and having conversations with them, and you'll figure out, like we said earlier today, you'll figure out what people want. Yeah. And the only way to do that is just from doing it, right?
Yeah. Getting on that bus. Exactly. It's all about getting on the bus.
Yeah. So the other ones that I really liked a lot. Well, one I like the ceramic pieces. That's the non-British art.
This is it. Yes,
that's the lone American artist at the moment.
Yes, this is the lone. Can you see that? I don't know.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. So this is Ellen Schön. She's a local artist, and I saw her work at the Boston Sculpture Gallery.
Yeah.
Which is in South Boston, or is it Soho?
Soho, yep.
I saw her work there. I took a bazillion photos, and that was when I was on this art ban because we'd spent too much money on art. Not that you can never do that.
Yeah.
And I was choosing a piece, and I was like, right, we'll take pictures. And then when I got into the space, the gallery space, there were these shelves, 2 sets of white shelves, and I knew exactly what I was doing with one shelf, which was to put Abigail Fallis's these crazy, wonderful, joyful bananas that I think are just fabulous. And then on the other shelf, I was like, right, I thought I was going to do a whole series of Nathan stuff, but I honestly had given my poor artists about, a week, if that, to produce all this artwork or, whatever they had. And all I could think about was Ellen's work. It was just, that's it. That's what has to go there. That's it. So I... poor woman, bombarded her with emails, Instagrams, on her contact page on her website. I was quite, and I didn't hear back from her. And I was like, oh, it was now sort of Thursday and I'm opening in a week. And that's the only artist I want because that's what I had in my head.
Yeah.
And eventually I get this email back from her going, okay, well, can we have a FaceTime?
Yeah.
And then we spoke on FaceTime for about, I'd say 45 minutes. And she's like, well, if you'd have said you'd see me at the Boston Sculpture Gallery, give me a bit more context. But I was just like, I love, my email's quite like, I love your work. I really want it in the gallery. It was quite, I hadn't given her nearly enough background. So she thought I was like a scam artist.
Yeah.
And it hadn't even occurred to me, any of this, that I'd just been a bit too short and brief, because I knew what I was doing in my head.
Yeah.
But sometimes I'm not very good at relaying that. And she was incredibly gracious. After our conversation, she invited me up on the Monday to her studio and her home. And it was like, oh, I'm a ceramicist, not in the same league. And I do incredible ceramics classes at the South Shore Arts Centre with
Anne.
Very talented teacher, Anne Conti, who is just a joy in every way. Her work is sensational.
Yeah, super talent. Yeah.
And the loveliest human. And to be in the league of her or Ellen is my aspiration.
Yeah, well, keep working at it.
I am. Oh, I am. I'm doing my best. And it was like busman's holiday when I went in to see Ellen's work. I was in heaven. She showed me her studio. She showed me how she creates these incredible, like 3D printed ceramics. And then she shows me how she airbrushes glazes on, which I've never seen before. I've never seen these kinds of colours and what she can do with it. And I was just in awe. And then the best bit about it was I got to pick pieces. She's like, she's like, what a good feeling about you.
Yeah.
Let's do this. And I was just thrilled because she didn't know me but at all, you know, except from this one meeting. And I got to pick. I picked 19 pieces, which is possibly a little greedy, but she was okay with it because I seen the shelves. And then when she came down and she was at the opening, she was really. It was the biggest compliment. She said, "Oh, I love how you've laid out my work. I really, I can see you've done." We just had the same eye and vision on it, and I felt that was such a joyful moment, and I felt so proud that we had the same vision, and that I wasn't fighting. We were just on the same page with that, and that could easily not have been the case.
I 100% understand what you're talking about. You have somebody that you respect, and they like how you put it all together. Yeah. I mean, I have the same thing happen with framing for artists who I'm, fond of their work, and think of them, as like an elevated individual, and they either leave something with me and I frame it for them, or I've purchased something and reframed it, and then they kind of get a look at it and they're like, oh yeah. So it's a nice compliment to get from somebody that you're a fan of. Yeah, it is. It's a lovely compliment when you realize, when you get that, it feels really like, okay, great, I'm doing a good job. Yeah. So that was lovely, and her being at the opening was really special, and her taking a chance on me was really special because I think I then put all her work up. You moved a few of her pieces, or and I drove it all back to the gallery, and then on the Wednesday I put it all together, and then we opened on the Thursday. It was all very last minute, so shelves were empty for a very long time. Yep. Until I figured out how it's going to work, and yes. And well received her. Yes, already sold one of her pieces. Yep. So people are really responding to her work. And Jess, she's. I'm really touched that she took a chance on me and said yes. So tell me about the one you got in the box over there. I want to open that box up. Is that the sardine cans? Yeah. So this is an artist called Auteur de Cupinet. See him there? That's probably the best. Should we move these out of the way now? Yeah. I think that's probably. We can do that. Can I open this thing up? I'm excited about this thing. Yeah, of course you can. Enjoy. This one. I like the packaging. Is that part of the whole thing? Yeah, that's how. That is. If you come and buy one, that is how it will come. And he is a French artist. He lives in Brittany. Don't think it's going to stand up, is it? No. Yeah, well, we're gonna figure this out. Take the bubble wrap out of the way. He's a French artist, and what he does is he recycles sardine cans or fish cans or any cans that food comes in, and then he creates these beautiful resin sculptures, which make me happy. Yeah, they are.
they just everything about him and his process I love. The recycling of things and the creating of these fish, it just...
No, those were really cool. There was a whole bunch, there was a lot of them on the wall. I think I saw a few of those had sold too, right?
Yeah, this one's actually sold as well. I'm actually delivering this at some point this week. It's been in my car, lovingly wrapped up because it's got 5 fish in, and my friend who bought it has 5 in the family, so it's very sweet.
Yeah. I didn't even think of that when I was looking at them, that would be one of the things that people connect to.
Yeah, people, and I've got some of these in my home, and I originally bought one with 3, which was me, my husband, and my son, and now I need a 5 because we've
You've grown.
And the children would insist a 6th for the dog.
Yeah.
For the dog, our dog Chips.
Yeah.
But he has a huge, and lots of people have come in. He's been really popular. His work's been flying off.
Yeah.
The walls, not the shelves this time. And he has got, everyone's like, I've seen his work. Where is his work? And I was like, have you ever been in the Delta Sky Lounge at Logan? I'm like, yes, because he has a huge installation there.
Oh, really?
I'm guessing it must be like 200 fish cans. And he's actually, I've sent him an email, I think it was yesterday, saying, hey, everyone's loving your work. Mm-hmm. Any chance you can send me some more? So I'm hoping to get a few more in before Christmas. And a few more 5s if he does. But he changes, some are landscapes, some are portraits, some are oval, some are round. So there's all different, and they're all very subtle. And everyone is unique, which is what I love. He never does 2 the same. And he's a very, very sweet man. And
How did you meet him?
So I found his work at the summer exhibition at the Royal Academy in London. Mm-hmm. So I don't know if you're from... No. I don't know. It's...
I think I went to London once, 20 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
I hugely recommend...
Twice, actually. I think I went back. Yeah. It's been a long time.
Right. Go to the Royal Academy. A very, very good friend of mine who used to be the treasurer there. Mm. But that's for another story. He told me some hilarious stories about writing snooty letters to Charles, who wanted Prince Charles at the time. He makes me laugh. He's a wonderful artist. But the Royal Academy do this summer exhibition, and it's an open call for submissions. Mm-hmm. But it is all the Royal Academicians will preside, and the selection panel will choose. And I'm trying to think of Anthony Gormley is part of their set. Tracy Emin's one, Paul Huxley. There's a bit, they're really very famous artists in their own right, and it's the most magical space because anyone can submit. My uncle submitted. He's a very talented artist. He didn't get in, and he's going to go again this year. He's promised me. And so I had 2 of my artists I found, which was Maxine Gregson, who's another artist, and Ortaire's work I found. Mm-hmm. And then I always then want to make the connection with them afterwards and tell them how much I love their work. And so that's where I found him and Maxine. I go every year. Mm-hmm. It's amazing. It's just off Piccadilly in London. And I highly recommend it. If you're going to London, go during the summer exhibition.
It's during the summer?
Yes, it normally starts mid-July to
we have the same
August.
Seasons over in London?
You wouldn't believe it. We actually, we do.
All right.
So I have very fond memories of going there, and that's another dangerous place to go get art.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't...
And something for all types of budgets over there too?
Yeah, stuff will start there, I think, normally it's sort of £50, and it'll go up to I think some of the pieces in there are £500,000. There's a whole... But that's what I love about it. They're small, they're big, a lot of the Royal Academicians put their work in. Anyone can submit. It's a really... incredible space, and then how they hang it each year changes, and where they place things, and sometimes this is the first year they've mixed up all of the sculptural work and the architectural work, and they've put everything all together. It's great. It's a hugely wonderful space to go in the summer. My favourite place to find artists.
Nice. And then we have another one over there.
Yes.
That's I'm going to let you package that one back up.
I will. I'll do, and this one I'll do later.
Yeah.
So this is. I've managed to, I was really cheeky actually. You said bring in a couple of pieces, and I think I've brought in about 8 or 9. So this is Lily Mix. Is that a good spot to pop her work? Is it straight? Probably, no, possibly not. There we go.
Lily, you said Lily.
Lily Mix. Mm-hmm. So she is another street artist.
Yep.
Whose work I found in Columbia Road Flower Market, which is a big flower market that we have on a Sunday in London, which I highly recommend. Again, I have a London tour guide here. Go there; it's amazing. And
if I go back, I'll hit you up for all the places where we're going to go.
Yes. This is another wonderful space to go. And again, this is a huge area where we live. We could walk there, and it's where all the street artists are. This is where they do all the street art tours when you go to London, and you will find some incredible work from a lot of people. Oh, wow, they're here, and so on, and where a lot of Banksy was. And we had a Banksy just up 2 or 3 up around from us, all protected.
Yeah.
And guarded now, because like people like to go on roofs and steal them and try and take brick walls out. It's quite wild.
Yeah, no, that is. I guess you've made it at that point, right? When people are trying to remove a brick wall.
Yes, honestly, they've tried to take down this brick wall. I think it was in Finsbury Park, where my friend lives. She's like, you wouldn't believe it, Banksy's turned up and they're on the roof trying to take a wall down. They didn't succeed. But so Lily, I saw her work in Columbia Road Flower Market. Broadway Market's another one to go to. That's for the food. And I saw her name, I wrote it down, and then I found her and I contacted her and I bought some pieces from her. And when I met her down in Margate recently, I was like, do you know how I found you? Which piece it was? And she said, no, which one? And I told her the one and where it was, and she went, I spent my last £200 that I had in the world doing that piece of artwork. She said that was how I spent that money. And she'd moved over from France. She was in advertising and graphic design, doing that sort of thing. And she jacked it all in and just wanted to make it as an artist. And she came to London, and she has. And she is another really talented artist. And what I love about Lily's work is she really works with nature. So this and the environment. So this is a tabletop.
Yep.
She found it on the street. She reclaimed it, cleaned it, and then she painted with acrylic and watercolor onto it. And all of her work is very nature inspired and all about, she's very conscious about, very keen to, environmental protection and recycling and reusing. And when I went into her studio, which is always like the biggest thrill for me when I get to go and see where artists work. It's amazing. I get such a kick out of it. And she gave me a coffee, and I'm being so scared to spill the coffee in there because I clutched this coffee for a very long time. But she showed me how she was making her own paints and dyes from nature, and what worked and what didn't. How she was boiling big pots of things in the kitchen on the hob, trying to make dyes. And she was saying that I think it was the copper oxide worked really well but doesn't last very long. And she'd been using trying to sort of rusty metal she'd found. Then she was using she's going to, if I don't get it right, I've got lots of pictures which again I'll put on my Instagram of I think it was elderberries and all these things. And she goes out with her little one and will go out and forage for things to make dyes. And then they take chalk, and she's got very into doing these they do lots of chalk drawings on the beach. She was showing me, and she lives down in Margate, which is a big art mecca now. That's where Tracy Emin's from, and she opened the Turner gallery down there. And lots of artists have been going to Margate, and it's become a real fabulous place to go. And it's great to actually be, stuck down there in the car. It's how I got to know Margot and Margate's work, because other of my artists. Yep. Her pieces are much bigger, so I didn't bring her, but she just uses these big, very vibrant.
That's the one that does the
portraits.
Which ones?
No, so this is the one. So Margot does the portraits, the really brightly coloured women's faces.
Okay. Yep. You have all the screen prints.
Yes.
Yes.
So I'm hoping I'm going to get some originals of hers sent across, which would be great. But Lily's work is, I've got 3 of these. This is the smallest one. And then I've got these incredible works that she's done on furniture, recycled doors. You can see the keyholes in them. And I love that as part of the process as well.
Yeah, I think that's makes it even more unique, right? Like that I think I showed you that photograph from my collection over there of my friend Kel's, and it's like it's on a door, and it just makes it even more special. So yeah, it's wild. So I mean, obviously you've been collecting art for a while too, and you are very engaged and excited about the relationship stuff, and I think it gets me thinking that when people are looking to sell art, I think the first step is to start buying it, right?
Yeah.
And understand what what you love and why, so that you can kind of translate that skill to people,
Yeah.
to be on the other side of it, I guess. Probably for artists and for, gallerists, I guess.
Yes. I mean, it's a very interesting, it's a very personal relationship people have with art, and how they find it, and and why they buy it, and the connections. And I think it's, I was driving here, and the listing agent of our first property that we rented here, it was a short-term rent in Cohasset.
Yeah.
And she came to the opening, and it was a joy that she came. And I remember a comment she'd made to me ages ago was, I didn't understand. It was really unusual. You came into this fully furnished short-term rental.
Yeah.
She goes, and I've never seen anyone do this. You took, it always baffled me that you took all the artwork off the walls, because it was all very, it was just...
Yeah, just stuff to fill the space,
yeah,
right?
It was, more from the big box store kind of things. And I took the whole lot down, and I put all our art, I unboxed all our stuff, I took it out of storage, I took out all our artwork, and I put it up all the walls in the house.
Yeah, I mean, how could you moving into a house that has I guess aesthetically it might have looked nice.
It looked great. It looked great.
But, what is that's like having pictures of other people's kids on your wall, right?
Yeah, exactly. It was it was exactly that. And when it was a big move from England, and when we came here, and I gave the children bedrooms, and it was such a big wrench. And when the kids came into their bedrooms, like, oh, my art's here, okay. And it was something like, oh, I'm home. Yeah. It's okay now. This was in my room in London. And the fact that I don't have all my toys, but I've got a bed, and I've got that picture that used to be in my room. Okay, this is my room. And suddenly, just by putting, it was none of our furniture, and it was just a few suitcases that we had. Mm-hmm. And then we got our artwork up, and suddenly it was our home. That's all it took, was actually that. And that was something that just as kind of, I knew it, but you don't know it until someone sort of says it to you.
Well, it's funny. It's similar, kind of like the opposite. So when I filled this space with all of my artwork, and now I'm at home. Well, on Saturday I started bringing it back home, but it's just that the place is so empty. It just doesn't feel like our house anymore. It's like I walk through these rooms. The walls were empty at one point, but I've grown so used to the art being surrounded by it that now it just feels cold and not the same. Right?
I mean, I was actually thinking that on the drive here. Like, your house must feel just not like home at the moment.
No, it just feels like it's I don't know. There's certain elements of it that I still get the couch that I sit on, and the and the table I eat breakfast at, but when I sit down, the print, the stuff I'm used to seeing isn't there. It feels different and not as nice because something's missing.
No, And so, how long have you been without your art collection?
I think it's been a couple of weeks now.
So, and
I'm anxious to get some of it back. I mean, I do want to move some of it around, and try some new things in new places. And now's the perfect time. But it'll be nice to have it back home. And it should also be interesting experiment to see how much it changes the feel of the house. Mm-hmm. I might try to take some pictures of the walls being empty and then filled up again. I don't know if that will translate to anybody else and for anybody else to understand that feeling.
I think that's. I mean, that's always the first thing when we've moved a lot, and we always put the art up first. Mm. That's the first thing that goes up, and I think it will be. I'd love to know. You should take photos before and after, and I'm very curious to see how you. I'd love to see how you arrange art in your home, like how you piece things together, what, with your eye, like whether, anyway, I would be intrigued to see how you do it. So yes, please do that. I'd like it a lot. Yeah. And just a quick, can I ask you a question then?
You can ask me as many questions as you want.
How do your kids react to like there being no art in their house? Is it like
I think that they've noticed and they think it's weird. One of my son had to help me transport everything, so I don't know. I came home to my daughter and a couple of friends of hers being there, and they, that was the first thing that they said. Like, I was like, how's this feel? And they were like, oh, they had just like expressed that the house was empty.
It's like you've been robbed.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's come in and just stolen all the art.
Yeah. It's weird looking around and just seeing the hook. Some of them, the hooks are just on the wall.
Yeah. So how many pieces did you bring over here?
There's 140.
140.
Yeah. I mean, that includes some sculptures and, and it's not everything, but it's everything that was on the walls that was an original piece, plus some things came out of the archive. Nice. I need to come up with a better system for some of the other pieces that for when they're not on display. Yeah. Maybe I'll come up with I'm going to try to catalog it all too before I bring it home.
Oh, that's yes.
It should be fun.
But yeah, no, it's that was actually the best thing about moving to America. One of the best things. Yeah. Was that our house suddenly sort of tripled in size because America was so much bigger, and we lived in central London in a townhouse, so we were very restricted, and I was like, we have a lot of walls. Yeah. More walls, and that was. And it was called like, well, we have a lot.
Is that why the ban was put down? The ban of buying art?
Yeah. Because, yes. Basically, yes, and yes.
When do you get the art budget back?
Oh, it'll be a while. There is never a budget. We don't actually ever have a budget for art. Yeah. Like, what I mean is not that we have tons of money, but like it's always like, oh, well, we sort of find a way to make it work. Yeah. Because I'd love to be in that position that we have but the thing about art to me, and this is what I've kind of been really conscious of in the gallery, is making it affordable. Yeah. In a way that there's nothing in the space. It
needs to be affordable, but there is something to be said about and I think about these sort of things all the time. It has to, if it stings a little bit, it's good, right? Because you won't. Yeah. It has to be like you have to be. I feel like you want to. There's also. I mean, there's like finding like the diamond in the rough, right? Mm-hmm. Like in getting a bargain on something that is worth more than, or you would have paid more for something. Yeah. But there's also something nice about, like that's if that was a little cheaper, I could afford it, in like knowing you spent more than you should to get something you really wanted. I don't know. There's something nice about that too.
I agree in both ways. I think it's lovely when you can easily afford a piece. I really like that, and like, oh, that would be a great gift for someone, or that's great. But yes, James and I have found ourselves in a few times where it's like we've had a particular thing where we couldn't afford it but at all, and we ended up having to pay in installments for 2 years for this piece after we'd had a little bit too many cocktails and got a bit impulsive because we both loved it and we loved it and we loved it and we said yes, and then we're like, we were in our late 20s, we couldn't afford it at all. I don't know what we were thinking, but it's one of our most treasured pieces, and it's travelled with us. And
well, maybe it's that, like, knowing that it's something is a stretch, adds to the story, right? Because I think of all the pieces that are up here, and there's a story behind each one. And some of them, they weren't expensive at all, and that's part of the story. But that's like, those type of stories are like, look at what a deal I got on this, or look how fortunate I was to find this at the the right time. Yeah. I don't know. I guess it's if it's meant to be, they end up with you. Right?
You'll make it work.
You brought art from England to the United States?
Yes.
What was that like?
Yeah.
So
big question, Scotty.
we Right. So I was back in London because it was all very, very serendipitous in that I got the yes for the space. I was already going back to England to be maid of honour at my friend's wedding. So I made sure I packed pretty much nothing in my suitcase because I was so worried about getting stuff across.
Through customs?
Well, I was worried about shipping stuff. I've had a nightmare shipping stuff.
No.
I have brought a lot of stuff across. Stuff has been held. I've had to pay tariffs on things, even though I shouldn't have to pay tariffs. Stuff was and if you don't pay it, then it gets returned. It's been a real nightmare getting stuff here, actually. Half the stuff sailed through, and the other stuff has been, but that's
learning all about logistics.
And also the arbitrariness of what gets held up by customs and not. I don't think they're quite sure what is what at the moment and what they should be and shouldn't be. But anyway, that's we'll save politics for a whole other time, and we'll just talk art. And so I said to James, I'm gonna have to hand carry a lot of this artwork back because I'm opening sort of 2 weeks after I get back, and I have nothing to show right now. So stuff has to come back with me. So I borrowed a suitcase from my mum, and I filled basically 1.5 suitcases with art, and then my husband was like, you have to declare the art because you're over the $2,500. And my mum was like, oh, don't bother, it's fine. And I sat on the plane, the whole plane, trying to watch a movie and hearing like James going, you must declare at the border. And my mum going, don't bother. And it just went back and forth, back and forth. So I had a gin tonic on the plane, as you do. I was like, and then suddenly, my mum's voice was louder. And then they gave me a glass of wine, and then James's voice got louder. And then I thought, for the sake of my marriage and also just being legal and legitimate, this is the right thing to do. So I got to the border, and it's always a bit daunting. I always get like very nervous at any border when you're going into a country. I don't know what it is. You instantly feel like you're a criminal, even though you've done nothing. He said, have you got anything to declare? And I went, well, I've got some art. He's like, okay. He's like, and I was like, well, I mean, I've got art, and it's sort of above the maximum. He's like, and you could see, he just thought, oh, bugger. He sort of rolled his eyes and he's like, right, next thing I know, I've got a border guard agent like escorting me down. And in Logan, they've got, the carousels, and there's the perspex on like one side of the carousel, and I get escorted through to the other side of the perspex. Like, not perspex, the glass wall. So I'm there on the other side of the glass wall, like, I am sweating. I am so stressed. And I was like, oh, God, what's going to happen? And I knew the worst case that would happen is that they would take the art. And then I'd have to get a customs broker. And then they'd basically just release it because because it's original artwork. It's not an issue. It's not. I wasn't doing anything illegal at all. But it was just like gone over the limit. And it was not, as I said, it's nothing that like would get you in jail or anything, and I've done nothing wrong, and I was doing the right thing, and I declared all the art. And then I was chatting to the chap, and he's like, can you show me some of the art? So I start getting all the art out, and it's like, in those what is that episode, the reality TV show of Border Crossing, when they have you ever seen it? It's basically, it's all set in like people, what are they pulling out, and it's sort of live animals and all sorts of things. And it was just artwork, and he was a big art enthusiast, and then his uncle was a famous artist, and then we were talking art, and then he's like, how many pieces? And I was showing him all the invoices, and he's like, oh, you can just go, it's fine. Like, it's absolutely fine, just off you go, enjoy, congratulations, open the gallery. But yes, that was an interesting moment of going, oh God, but I got the art here, and it was safe, and they were great, and actually they were very sweet to me, and they were very supportive. Nice. The border guards at Logan Airport.
They didn't show up at the opening, though. They
didn't. No, I should have invited. It's not border guards. It's the customs. I don't know, because customs and duties or something.
Yeah, I don't know.
They were very, very sweet in the end, and I also think they looked at the volume of art and thought, gosh, if we had to catalogue this and hold this for one day just give it back to you, it seems far too much of a hassle. I'm not doing anything, that's going to endanger the agricultural industry or anything, or there aren't wads of cash in there, which would have been nice.
Yeah. Next time
I'll work on it. Yeah.
So the space is in, what's the address?
It's 102 North Street
in Hingham.
In Hingham downtown, which is I always navigate things by pubs. It's a very British way to do it. So we're just up down from the Snug, the Irish pub, and across from the post office.
Nice.
And I think I've shown you. Do I have time to show you 2 more of the artists?
Yeah, go for it.
I just feel like I've brought all the art.
Yeah, let's do it.
So I'll do a couple more, the smaller pieces. I think I've brought 6 of the 9
Nice.
in to show you.
And you're started posting all the stuff on your Instagram also?
I am. It's a full. Oh my goodness, that's a full-time
job
trying to get that all done. Let me show you a couple of last pieces very quickly. This is Owen Gildersleeve's work. He is uses all hand cut paper. Is that going to hold? No, maybe not. Maybe do that. Let's do that. Yeah. I found him at something called the Other Art Fair, which is another art fair in London. Mm-hmm. You didn't hear that because I moved away from the mic. It's the Other Art Fair, which is in London, and he was there. And it turns out his studio was the street behind where I used to live in Brighton, mm-hmm. and we got on famously, and it felt very natural. Fit and a great fit, and he does these really beautiful 3D paperworks that I think are very joyful and fun. Mm-hmm. And I've got 6 pieces of his. His was the last ones to arrive.
Yep, they were in frames already.
Yeah, thank goodness. 5. He likes to frame his own stuff.
Yeah, no, I think the framing for him is probably a big part of
It's a huge part.
Yeah, otherwise it's just paper. Yeah, it's part. It's part of the artistic process, I would assume.
Yeah, it's making sure. So he does. Like 5 minutes before I opened, I was hanging up the last 2 bits of his that arrived. And the Princess of Wales very much likes his work. He met her and she was a big fan.
Yeah.
Got some photos of him meeting her, and she really liked his work and his process, and it's all these hand-cut, very intricate paperworks. Mm-hmm. This is a series called Sublime Spectrum that he's done, which I love. I've got in all different colours and different sizes. They're really special.
And you have some of his in your own home?
I do. I'm just going to get one in. I'm either going to take one of these, or there's another one I've got my eye on. Yeah. Because him and Ellen are the newest artists.
Yep.
To the House of Art, and I've got a load more that I'm wanting to do and do solo exhibitions and do a lot more with. But I wanted to bring as many over and to have such a variety and showcase as many people as I could. Plus, I'd only given everyone maybe 3 weeks at best.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, what have you got, or what are you working on? What can you send me?
Yep.
Which I think sometimes artists love and hate in equal measure.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm sure that the artists are going to want you to, and I think that's one of the things that comes with being established and being there for a bit, and you know what's selling, and then you tell the artist that what's selling, and if they enjoy producing it, they'll produce more, and then you'll sell more, and it's hopefully an ongoing cycle.
That's the plan. And then the last of the artists. That was great fun. You told me when I was just packing up, and it was very good timing. You said to me, "Oh, can you bring some art?" I'm like, "Yes, I can. Yeah. I'm still here," and I was wrapping stuff up, and this is the final artist I could bring. These are the smaller pieces. This is Christiana S. Williams. She is based in West London. She is of Icelandic heritage, and she does these incredible 3D works, which hopefully I'm getting a couple next week. These are the screen printed versions. Yeah. She does these beautiful, very collaged, very kind of, I think, Victorian inspired, very colourful, very thoughtful, incredibly intricate pieces. And I love the I love her process and how she creates things. I'm making this a bit wobbly. I hope it's not too wobbly. Yeah. And she
put it on the we could put it
maybe
on
do
there.
that. My little hand. It's not. You don't make me nervous, but that's not gonna. Is that gonna hold?
I got a trick.
The magic blackboard. It's like Blue Peter. Have you seen that? It's a British TV show, and this is one I made earlier. Ta-da! And this is called Sounds of the Heart, which is I love, and I've got a big piece of hers in my daughter's room. It's a map, and at bedtime we sort of, can you count the butterflies, and where's England? And it's just it's a beautiful way to do geography and art at the same time. And she's done a lot of work with.
You said she was involved in some
really big things like
brands.
She did stuff for the Rio Olympics. She's done Coldplay, one of their albums. She did all the artwork for them. Liberties, Penhaligon's, Paul Smith. She is she did Tanqueray Gin, which is obviously a very British favourite. I think Stanley Tucci fronted that. So if you get some Tanqueray Gin, she's done a lot of the design and packaging around that, because her artwork is so joyful and colourful and uplifting and so unusual. So I've got, and this is the smallest piece I have of hers. The rest I've got quite large. Yeah. I brought in a lot of large, colourful pieces, and we couldn't decide which to frame. That was a real head scratcher for both you and I. I was like, this one, but this one, but this one.
If they keep selling, we keep framing them.
Exactly.
Right?
I've got a lot more downstairs for you that I'd like by Friday. Well, it's only Wednesday. We'll see about that, but we'll see
what we can do.
I know you can pull a rabbit out of a hat. I'm very impressed with some of the crazy things that you've managed to achieve for me, and I'm bottom of my heart, because I didn't know you from. We only met 3 weeks ago, maybe.
Yep.
And you've graciously helped me in ways I was never expecting.
Well, I'm excited about art, and I'm thrilled that you're gonna become part of this community. It is, is it currently still just the pop-up, or are you long-term? Is it, or are things moving in the right direction?
Well, I've been open 3 days.
Yeah.
So I am, I would love it to be a long-term space. I'm currently there till Christmas.
Yep.
And then I think it's let's see
You'll
if this,
sit down and make a decision.
I want to just say yes. My husband is much more practical. It's like, well, it's about the numbers. Like, if you can just make it. I said, if we can just make it work, if we can just make it work a little bit.
Yep.
I'm doing it, for the love and of art, but it also.
Yeah, no, it has to.
It has to work
financially. It has to make and that's why it's important that people come and that people are aware of what you're doing, and that they kind of come and support it. And the holidays are a good test, right? People spend a little bit more freely, and have to buy gifts for people.
And I think I honestly, and I say this not as someone that wants to sell art. Obviously, that would be nice, but art is like the most special gift I think you can give. If I know it's hard to pick someone's taste or whatever, and I understand that part of the process. But when each of my children were born, I gave them a piece of art that was where we were in our lives. It was from a London gallery, and it was an artist that we'd seen, and it was a very specific time and place in our lives, and that it will be with them forever. And we're building this collection of art, and every piece has a story and a time, and that's the thing. And I hope that they don't, when we are no longer here, there's not some big art sale in our front garden, but but art is just this beautiful gift that you keep forever. And I always write on the back of frames when I give things to people, and I write a message and I make it personal. It's always there. It's like I never give a book, for example, that I haven't written in, and as a which I don't know how you feel. How do you feel about people writing on the back of your frames?
I think it's great. I think it's I think that's part of the story. 100%. People should write on the back of them, and especially if they're giving it as a gift. Or they're cataloging it, like I'm about to try to start doing. As long as they don't write over the sticker that says where they got it framed.
You should do not write over here. But I'm going to put a piece of art in the gallery. I'm actually going to just display it in the window as a piece of art my mum gave me when I was born, and I've still got it. It's in our house, and she's written on the back, to Emma, darling Emma, mummy. And then she's written the date, although she's maybe 2 years older than I am. So I'd like to say, if you do see this piece of artwork, deduct 2 years from my age when you work it out, or make me 2 years older. I was like, Mum, how could you get? She was like, I was just given birth. I didn't know what I was thinking or what day it was. And I was like, yeah, Mum, but that's pretty brutal to do that. And that is the truth. I'm not just trying to lie about my age. I just want to make it clear. But I do think that the art as gifts. It's forever. It's not like even giving children art. And it might sound weird, and they might just be when you get it. But it's something that we'll have forever. It's not like a plastic toy or something that How many Christmas gifts just get discarded and aren't significant anymore? And how much will you spend on certain things for people that it's like, maybe that. I just think this is more of a thought to be had about. Which I think actually Auteur's work's been really popular because they're in a nice price point for people to give us gifts, and there are lots of things in the gallery that is at a price point that I think people wouldn't worry too much if they wasn't quite right. But I think I always think take a risk, take a gamble. Why not? Like surprise someone with something they weren't expecting.
Yeah, I like it.
So yes.
Well, I think people should get down. They should support you. They should follow your social media so they can kind of learn a little bit about these artists. You have a regular routine that you're trying to do, or you're just winging it?
Both. I'm going to say yes. I have a plan to do I'm going to start doing features on all the artists, and just get some more content up. It's just making sure that I don't bombard people, but I also have got I'm going to do a 9-day, each day an artist.
Yeah, I think that's I think that's a good way for people to see them. They need to people need to virtually walk into your space by doing that. Seeing some of those things. I think that's helpful. I'm
on it. That's the mission today, is to get started on that.
Framing and giving you advice.
No, you are. You've been, but you are. You've been like my counsellor. I'd come in a bit of a flap, and you'd be like, right, have you done this? And have you thought about that? I'm like, oh, good, right, yes, good. And I appreciate your wisdom and guidance as I'm navigating this. Yeah, take the compliment. It's very true. It was wonderful to come in here and have someone, a sounding board, and for you to just give me more than just the framing. You gave me your time, your energy, your thoughtfulness, and I've been very grateful to have someone to partner with on this. And
I'm excited to be a part of it in whatever sense that whatever role that is. So.
Official framer, counsellor, art advisor, and coffee maker, sounding board, Instagram, tell me what to do. No, it's really, I think when you're running your own business and it's just me, myself, and I, I desperately need, people to give me their input and advice and thoughts and.
I think you're, I think that yourself and people that are opening spaces and selling that's part of the art community in this area, and I want to do whatever I can to support it. So I'm happy to help.
Well, you're doing a wonderful job supporting the art community, I can tell you that.
Well, I would encourage everyone to go down to the House of Art at 102
North Street.
And what's the Instagram handles? Is there other social media where people can...
No, I'm just keeping it on Instagram for the moment, just because if I try to do more, I'll end up doing less, if you know what I mean. So I'm just going to stay focused.
And that's House of Art as well? Or?
Yeah, it's House... Oh, God, it's so... Trying to get an Instagram handle is very interesting. House_of_art_, which is ER, my initials.
Yeah.
Because my friend was very keen that I called it the Emma Richardson Gallery, and I was like, absolutely not. It's the House of Art.
Yeah, that can be the second gallery.
The second one, goodness. Yeah, Emma Richardson sounds very formal and very stuffy, and that's the other thing. It's just it is not stuffy. It is really fun, and we play mostly the Beatles at the moment. I'm quite into the Beatles, but not just British bands. And it's just somewhere you can come and not ever feel like. I don't know. I used to get really nervous walking into galleries. That's the last thing I want, is for that to be what anyone feels coming into the space.
Well, I think it'll be a very welcoming. I think I think with the social media that'll help. It's also fun too, because the more I get to know you, the more I look at the art and I can see your personality in some of the artists that you're representing, and you also own. So.
Yeah. Yes. Exactly. I think that's the thing. If all the artists are in my home, and I think that's the biggest compliment that I can. Sounds silly, but I can. I have all these artists, and that's why I'm doing this. Is I love their work and I believe in them as good humans and great artists. And
I think you should post some of those pictures too, because kind of like this show that's up here, outside of our podcast studio. That's kind of been my way, and it wasn't intentional. I feel like it's like I can tell people to buy art because I have 140 pieces of art at home. It's I'm not full of it. It's you have to. I think you have to live it, right? Yeah. If you want to tell people to buy art, it's important that you buy art.
It is, and it's. I think
otherwise you're like kind of some weird, used car salesman that's like, I think that and I think that people that talk to you and see that you're, living it as well, or they'll pick up on that quickly after a couple conversations.
That's true. Our house is. I'm going to have to go home and count. I wonder how many. If we're at 140,
it adds up quick when I didn't never count them before until we started bringing them over. So.
I wonder.
Well, I think that everyone should go down and support you. Make sure that this pop up becomes a staple in the art community here on the South Shore, and we'll have you back afterwards when you're announcing that you're going to stick around or you sign that long-term lease.
That would be the dream. Fingers crossed.
Awesome.
I'd love that.
Well, thank you, Emma. I appreciate you coming in and talking with me.
No, thank you for having me. It's been an absolute treat. Thank you.